My first ever Manchester United tour away was to Malaysia, to Kuala Lumpur. We spent 2 weeks there in 1994, 5 or 5, 6. So some 25 years ago. And we stayed at a hotel next to the Hard Rock Cafe. I mean, you may be able to tell me which one it was.
Concord, I think.
Yeah. Concord Hotel.
Yeah, and we had a fantastic time. I always remember the first time I played in Malaysia. It was the first time I'd ever been to Asia, and we played in the national stadium against, I think it was a Malaysia 11 or a Malaysia International 11. And I always remember the humidity, and we're going on my first run forward as a fullback, and then thinking, when I went to run back, I thought, oh, there's no air. So I ended up really tired in the first 25 minutes. It took me quite a long time to get used to playing in Asia, but I always loved coming to Malaysia. I loved coming to that part of the world. Still do come there to Asia many times. Obviously not at this moment in time, but many times a season. I really love the place, and yeah, I do remember my times coming to Malaysia.
I mean, you came quite a few times. I remember once I went to a hotel, and don't ask me why I was there, but I saw you sitting in the lobby with, I think it was Ryan Giggs and Sir Alex Ferguson, the manager at the time. Just the three of you, like the three bosses of the club, the three seniors, especially Sir Alex. And I noticed that all the other players were in the nightclub underneath. It was Rooney, Van der Sar, Evra. I mean, how isolated were you?
You're giving out too much.
There are pictures online, but I mean, were you always just with the boss, with Sir Alex? Are you still close to him? Do you still speak to him on a regular basis?
Yeah, I still speak to him probably once a month. He still tells me off if I say something wrong on television. No, I think we were so close. I think obviously when we've been there so long, you feel relaxed in his company. You can go and sit next to him. But you're right about the players going out. When we went away on tour, we always experienced a night out, or we always went. I remember going to Hard Rock Cafe twice on a night out in the early tour that I went on in 95, 96 or 94, 95. And I remember, there was a live band playing. We had an amazing time. We had a few drinks together. And that's something that builds spirit within the club. But when you're talking about Sir Alex, myself and Ryan, Paul Scholes, David Beckham, we had a great relationship with him. He'd known us since we were 12, 13, so we would obviously, he trusts us and we trust him, and he enabled us to go and enjoy ourselves and enjoy the different countries that we were experiencing.
You talked about Sir Alex talking to you as a pundit, but have you ever said something on TV and you've talked about a player that you personally know, either that you've played with or maybe even managed when you were part of the coaching setup at England? Have they ever been upset with you and said, that wasn't right, that wasn't on? Do you have to watch what you say so you don't damage relationships as a pundit now?
No, I mean, I think there have been times where maybe that will have happened, but they've never rang me up. I think players, to be fair, understand that I've got a job to do on television, and their job is to play football, and they understand that words have to come out of my mouth. There have been times when I've been analysing matches, and sometimes you'll say something and you'll realise straight away that it might be clumsy or it might not be the right words, and you'll just be like, come back please, come back words, but they never come back because obviously we're always live. So I think that you have to be careful, but also I think you have to also make sure that you are honest on television, that you demonstrate integrity, and that you can't be compromised by relationships with people, or else the players in the rest of the league will, I think, not accept that, and I think you would damage your credibility as an analyst and a pundit.
Yeah, how hard was it for you to be impartial on analysis when you first started? Because I have memories of you as a player. There's that famous clip of you in the tunnel, Peter Schmeichel, who had joined another club. It was either Villa or City at the time, and you just completely blanked him. And I think you also blanked your brothers, so there was obviously a very competitive spirit within your heart. So now you're on TV. Was it hard to adjust to a different role, to be impartial on national television?
It wasn't difficult, because I think pretty much when fans watch football matches, they're very intelligent and they know what they're watching, and you can't lie to them, you can't joke with them, you can't really sort of pull the wool over their eyes and say, well, that was a good goal if it wasn't a good goal, or that was a bad mistake if it wasn't a bad mistake by a defender. So I think you've really got to be careful, and I would always make sure that I don't insult the fans' intelligence, because football fans, they know the game really well, they watch the game, they're detailed about it. So I think you have to make sure that you basically say what you see, and that you try and give some insight into how it's happened. I think that the idea that you would try and favour one team is difficult. I think I've probably been too hard on Manchester United at times because of my allegiance to them. There have been moments. I remember Robin van Persie scoring a late free kick at the Etihad against Manchester City with a winner, and I remember feeling like goosebumps and tingling with excitement, but then having to compose myself to be able to speak. But you're right, when I played football for Manchester United, everybody else was the enemy, whether it was my brother, whether it was ex-teammates. We had to win, we must win, and no one could compromise that, and no one could stand in our way.